Hello, my friends. Chris Parsons here from the Happy Healthy Marriage Reset. Today, I want to talk about regret because regret is something that a lot of people feel when their marriage is falling apart. They're looking back at all the mistakes they've made and the things that they could have done different. But regret is a useless emotion. Here's what I mean. I'm not somebody that says, live with no regrets. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't change a thing. That just seems silly to me. If I could go back in time, I would change so many things. Why would I continue to, if I went back in time, why would I make the same mistakes just to learn the lesson if I've already learned it and I don't have to make that mistake again? So I'm not saying that you shouldn't look at the past and look at what you could have done differently. What I am saying is that regret comes from focusing on what is outside of your control, and that is the actions that you took in the past. There's nothing you can do about the choices you made and the actions that you took in the past. You cannot change the past. You cannot take away those choices and actions. And when you're focused on that and how you can't change it, that's when you feel guilt and regret, and you're living trapped by your past. But there's no freedom there. There's no love or joy there. The way to look at the past without feeling regret, because when I look at my past, the mistakes I made in my marriage, the mistakes I made, with where I went to college or whatever, do I think I would have made a different decision and done different things if I could go back in the past? Yes. But I only take that into consideration for looking forward, because right now, this present moment, today is all you have. And so what lesson are you going to learn? What knowledge and perspective do you now have that you can make a different decision for what you're going to do today? You can, but if you focus on the past and what you cannot change, you're not learning from it to make a better future. I don't have any regret in terms of guilt or feeling bad about myself, about the mistakes and bad decisions and, poorly thought out things that I did in my past. I look back and I think I learned a valuable lesson there. I have a new perspective. I value different things now. I'm more informed and I know better so that I can do better. Is you glance backwards. You glance at the past to learn from it, not to focus on it. You have to take what you learned from the past and apply it to the present. And if you don't, you will stay stuck in this place of misery, guilt, frustration, and regret for what could have been. None of that matters. All that matters is, what are you going to do right now? What are you going to make today look like? Doesn't matter what yesterday looked like. It doesn't matter who you were yesterday. Who you were does not define who you are. Every day we have a chance to decide who we're going to be. And when you're focused on the past and when you're filled with regret and guilt and shame from the things that you've done in the past, then that's where you're living and that's where you will stay stuck. There's no hope there. There's no happiness, no joy, no peace, and no connection with your spouse in the past. But it's all possible in the present. So are you going to continue to let who you were yesterday determine who you are today? Or are you ready to start making some new choices, to learn from the past, to apply it to the present, to make the future better than the past? Because the relationship that you have had with your spouse does not have to be the relationship that you have going forward. Starting today, you can create a totally new, loving, supportive, valued relationship. But it starts with you letting go of the past. And when you let go of the past, when you stop fixating on the past, that gives your spouse permission. And not only permission, but when you do it fully, it actually gives them the expectation that they let go of the past as well. That's what allows them to move forward, to stop looking at, focusing on all the things that you did wrong, maybe, right? If that's what they're looking at. As long as they're focused on it and you are focused on it, that's where you will stay. As long as you start looking forward, you refuse to acknowledge that the past version of who you were is who you are, your spouse will have no choice but to come to see that same thing. So, regret is a useless emotion. It's a habit of focus. It means you are focused on things that you cannot control instead of what you can control. You have the power to make the changes that you want in your life and in your marriage. Start making different decisions and getting different outcomes. All right, my friends.